bring in billionaire investor John Paul DeJoria, Paul Mitchell, co-founder. John, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria. Good morning.
That point on the Benghazi committee, let me just close the loop on that for a second, because I think what Bill O'Reilly said last night was really important. And it's funny because the Clinton campaign took part of what he said and put it on their website. And what he said was, he said something like, yeah, of course the Republicans want to damage Hillary Clinton. And of course the Benghazi committee wants to. However, we all deserve to know what went on and why 4 Americans were killed. So I don't know if you think the committee was damaged. I think that says it, what Bill O'Reilly said.
I think the committee
right.
was damaged to the extent that what comes out of it hurts Hillary Clinton's campaign. But I think that the American people want to know and deserve to know what happened.
Yeah,
so I think that most people will still stand behind what that committee is doing.
So that's why I think they haven't lost credibility. I come back to it and I say,
in the political arena, they have that she now has her talking point, which was that the whole thing was politicized.
And John Paul, do you care about it as a business leader? What's your take on the Benghazi committee and about how Hillary's handling herself?
I think it's a good thing for Americans and the world to know what really happened.
Totally
So
agree.
whether the committee is slided one way or another, we deserve to see the findings.
Yeah.
I think Hillary will handle them as a politician will handle them. But let's take a look what the findings are before we judge.
Yeah.
There could be something there.
Totally agree. John, what do you think business wants to hear from the 2016 candidates? Let's move over to the GOP for a moment, as well as what you're expecting from tonight's debate. What's important to business?
Sure. You bet. I think business would like to know that we could continue to expand and not be, shall we say, levied down with more regulations or more taxations that would have business tend to think, well, maybe I won't spend quite as much. I know there was this little deal here with a major company and their telephones. They're spending so much money they want to start taking them away or breaking down, shall we say, the avenues where money's coming in for telephones. So people are really looking to cut back now a little bit, and of course they want to make sure that that's not offset by all of a sudden more taxation, which would make them cut back even more. And when it comes to telephones, they could find plans. I know those companies spend way over $100 per person on their phones, but they could find plans out there for $49 that gives them all their calls, all their texting, all their data, and even all their music, like rock, for example, are okay. They could go to American institutions and organizations that could let them have their phones, but at a lower cost, opposed to let's get rid of everything. So I think what they're looking for, the business is looking for, is whether you're a Democrat or Republican, can you keep this inertia going that's going on in the United States right now, or are you going to slow it down by extra regulations, extra rules, or extra taxation that may not be necessary?
Yeah.
And I say may not be necessary because, my gosh, our deficit is totally out of whack. We're spending more than we're breaking in, and I think business people want to see the country run a little bit more like a business, opposed to just, hey, let's write checks out no matter what.
Which is why some of these, sort of out-of-the-box people are in the leads. Let me switch gears just for a second, and then I want to bring Dagen and John in to talk more about the 2016 election. But we are having a huge deal this morning in the beer industry. You are the owner of the Patron Spirits Company. What are your reactions to InBev merging with SABMiller?
I would say that's one heck of a monopoly. I'm amazed that they let it go through. To have a business that owns that majority of the beer business on a global basis, my God, that's pretty powerful, but they let it go through. It's interesting because I have an interest in a beer brewing company also in Germany, how even the Germans are switching over to Bartiromo. I mean, that's amazing. That's an American beer. They have some pretty good beers over there in Germany.
So as a competitor,
things are happening.
I mean, as a competitor, you're going to push back and ask regulators to take a second look at this deal?
No, absolutely not. We're just a little teeny organization, and I'm sure that the regulators have already looked at it. I mean, this is so highly publicized, they definitely have already looked at this. So they've looked at it and say it's a fine thing, it's a fine thing.
What's the economic backdrop look like for you? How does the economic backdrop look for you right now? Is this a kind of environment where you would want to be, or where you want to be investing in new companies and looking for the next big thing?
Yes, definitely. And I look at what's up and coming, and I judge that through beauty salons. This is interesting. When the economy goes bad, beauty salons and barbershops have the same amount of customers, almost, if you drop off, but they come less often. when the economy gets better, they come on a more regular basis. And I can tell you from the beauty salon industry that salons are doing pretty good right now. Their numbers are up, which means people are having confidence in the economy. They're going to a salon or a barbershop on a more regular basis. Therefore, their business is up. So that's a good indication that this quarter, as I mentioned before, should be a pretty good quarter. I think we're looking at a nice quarter. We're going to have a good holiday season.
John, JP, it's Dagen. What about Patron? What about the sales there, the growth? And you also have the top tier, the very high-end tequila brands that you launched.
That is correct.
How are sales doing for those?
Great question. Yeah, Patron is the #1 ultra-premium tequila in the world right now, and it plans to stay there. And once again, when people are feeling good, they treat themselves. Very important word, treat themselves. So people that were drinking Patron before but maybe drink something else because of the economy are now going back to Patron. We're double-digit up right now. We had a great year last year, and this year we're already into double digits, which is pretty exciting when you look at that for an ultra-premium tequila. People want to treat themselves. They're doing it with Patron, so we're pretty happy. So Paul Mitchell and Patron are both up there right around the double-digit figure, which is pretty exciting.
What's in the mind of the American consumer? Why are people spending more money on beauty salons and Patron?
Maybe liquor's recessionary proof.
Well, yeah, but still during the recession, both industries went down just a little bit. They were still there, though. They weren't recession-proof, but went down a little bit. But it goes back up because people have enough money, enough confidence to know that those that have the money's going to continue, and they can treat themselves.
John Paul, thanks so much. John Paul DeJoria there. We appreciate your time this morning. We'll see you soon, sir. We'll be right back.